All right, what's going on, guys? And today we're going to be starting on the jet trim mat for our Yamaha Superjet. And then for our jet trim mat, we ordered it from their website. So we did kind of build our own. So we went with the bumps on the bottom just to try it. But we didn't opt for the hump in the front because our feet are pretty big. And we didn't opt for the hump in the back because our dad has trouble getting on the back of this ski since it's so buoyant in the back. So anything to make it higher is going to make it harder to climb into. So we opted to avoid anything in the back. But we did go with the split lifters on the sides. I really like it on our old Superjet. We have like the full lifter on the side, and that makes it just feel a lot safer when you're kind of in the air if you're jumping the ski. And just feels like you're kind of more attached to the ski when you're kind of going through turns and stuff. So we went with that. And then I also wanted to talk about that their website doesn't really explain what comes with the kit. The basic kit, you get the insert that fills this void here. You can see we've already filled it, so we didn't end up needing this. But it does come with that. And then you might notice too, our mat looks a little bit different since we have these elbow pads that we installed. They worked great and they're really a great permanent setup, but we wanted to switch to the jet trim mat, so we will be removing those today. And also the kit comes with a under pad, which they don't mention, as well as rivets. And then for installing the new pad, we'll be using Wellwood contact cement, but the under mat comes off pretty easy. Just pulls up. But yeah, overall, we're really happy with the ski so far. The ski is awesome, and it's way more close to the traditional two-stroke jet skis compared to the SXR, even though the SXR is the ultimate top speed Hayabusa on the water. We got a bunch of stuff done to the XR, so there'll be a bunch of videos on that coming up. And then we threw on the little pig since it's Wilbur. We got the regular pig over there, the XR650L. Man, it's pretty crazy how easy this stuff comes off. All right, so if you have a custom mat like us where we kind of added some elbow pads to the stock mat, or if you're working with an older mat, sometimes the mat will kind of want to stay and you'll end up with a bunch of excess mat stuck to the paint. So a couple of different methods you can use. You could do a test spot and use some acetone and let it like soak into a rag over top of it, and then you can slowly kind of work it away. Or a more fast way of removing an old mat that's kind of stuck on there is using one of these decal removers, and they work really good and fast at removing any adhesive to a car, jet ski, pretty much anything. But they work great for removing the mat too. If you're just working with the stock mat, this won't be an issue, but it can come in handy if you're removing decals or working with an old mat on an older ski. And then I'll have a link in the description to one of these. But yeah, it works really well. I actually use it all the time detailing, removing emblems and stickers, but you can see it doesn't damage the paint, and it works really fast compared to using the acetone or any other traditional method. All right, we got the rest of the glue off, and we actually went ahead and put the new mat in the tray and gave ourselves an outline with a little marker, a little dry erase marker. And now we're going to be putting tape at the line, and then that way when we go to sand it and put the glue on, we don't risk putting too much or sanding too much of the paint that will be visible. And we're also going to be removing the rivets. All right, so we're using a flat tip punch with what's left over of the rivets, and then we're just tapping them out lightly. All right, well, I just dropped a rivet deep into the ride plate to where I can't reach it, and these things are aluminum, so the metal or magnet won't pick it up. So I wanted to show a little quick trick, kind of cool, how to get something either in the engine bay or kind of where I lost it. Then you start with the sticky side onto the metal or onto your stick, and then rotate it the other way. All right, then we got it. All right, we got the area taped off, so now we're good to kind of scuff it up and get it prepped for the contact cement. And we're just going to be using Scotch-Brite pads just to get the surface a little scuffed up. Now we'll be brushing in 2 coats of the contact cement onto the mat, letting it dry in between each coat, and applying 1 coat of the contact cement on the ski, and we'll be doing 1 panel at a time.
Okay, you can go over there and work your way in.
All right, and again, we're going to do 1 coat on the sides and 2 coats on the mat for the rest of the mats. All right, it's day 2 of the jet trim mat install, and then we already have the undermat installed. Yeah, overall the mat looks sweet, but we kind of figured this would be kind of the outcome, but they didn't put enough padding or material behind it to wrap all the way. So we would have liked to seen more material here so you don't have that line. And it would have gave us a lot more options in terms of wrapping it. Yeah, because it wouldn't stretch to the very edge. We got the pick, and we're poking it from the back side so we can find the holes for where the rivets go. All right, and so for the rivets, we're going to be using the ones that they provide for this center section here, since it's really thick between the point that is pressing. But for the outside ones, we're going to be using some aluminum rivets that we have just laying around because it doesn't need to kind of clamp as much together, so we're not going to be using as long of a rivet. So you can see the ones that they provide are super long on the back for these outer ones, for these outer 2, compared to this is the one that we had laying around. And then you can see for the ones that are already in there from the factory, you can see that there's not that much material being riveted. That looks so much better with the black rivets. This, I'm using the flat black. As per the instructions, there's a couple spots that are lifted up, so we're going to be super gluing those down. But should hold up really well. We've had jet trim mat on our old Superjet for about 7 years or so, and this one's held up great with no issues. So this is kind of what we expect it to look like long term. But yeah, never had anything come up after the initial install. So yeah, that one's held up great. We liked it so much that we got it for the new Superjet. But yeah, there's the final install. That's it for the jet trim install on the new Yamaha Superjet. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.